Dear students, now we are here to study the next type of bond, that is covalent bond. Now, what is a covalent bond? Agar if I go through NCERT and just look over it now, what is a covalent bond? Then I will see that a covalent bond is defined as a bond which is formed between two atoms, say hydrogen, one electron, another hydrogen having one electron, they both deciding to share their one electron each to form a covalent bond that is represented by this solid line, which basically comprises of two electrons, where one electron is contributed by one atom. Hence, this two electron bond lies on the internuclear axis of these two atoms, which is under the influence of both the nuclei. Means, once this bond is formed, the two-centered two-electron bond is formed, then this bonded pair of electron is shared by the nuclei of both the atoms. Now, this type of a bond is called a non-polar covalent bond because here we have both the atoms similar, that is, they have zero difference in electronegativity. But suppose if I form a bond between chlorine and hydrogen, then in this particular case, again we have a covalent bond, but this is different from this covalent bond. Now, what is the basic difference which we observe between these two bonds, though they both are covalent? The difference is that over here the difference in electronegativity is zero, but this is more electronegative and this is less electronegative or more electropositive. Hence, this electron pair, which was exactly in between over here, say somewhere around here it was, that is, both the nuclei used to pull it with an equal effect, is more over here this time. Therefore, this atom acquires a partial negative charge, this atom acquires a partial positive charge, and this type of a bond is called a polar covalent bond. So this was a non-polar covalent bond, this was a polar covalent bond. Both have one thing in common, they both have a shared pair of electrons, which is under the influence of the nuclei of both the atoms. They lie on the internuclear axis. But in non-polar bond, one atom being more electronegative is capable of withdrawing the electron more towards itself, remember. Okay? And if we have both the atoms similar, then it is exactly in between that particular internuclear axis, that it is under the influence of both the nuclei to the similar extent. Now, if I want to go for a covalent bond, if I want to define a covalent bond in a better way, trust me, covalent bond is a bond which is formed by the overlap of orbitals. By the overlap of what? Orbitals. So fine. We have got four important types of orbital: s orbital, spherically symmetrical, p orbital, dumbbell shape, d orbital, double dumbbell. F orbital we won't mention because we won't basically study. Okay? But if we want, we can see that f orbital also, which is more complicated than these three types. Now, if I want to talk about a covalent bond in terms of overlap of orbitals, so I am very clear that if there is a overlap of one lobe and one lobe, then in this case I will result in the formation of a bond called as sigma bond. in NCERT it says that if two orbitals decide to overlap coaxially along the internuclear axis, if they overlap along this internuclear axis, the bond formed is a sigma bond. And I 100% agree with that particular statement, but I further add a sigma bond is formed by the overlap of two orbitals, one lobe of each, like a s orbital, they can overlap to form a sigma bond. A s orbital and a p orbital, they can overlap to form a sigma bond. A p orbital and a p orbital, they can overlap to form a sigma bond. You are seeing one lobe, one lobe, one lobe, one lobe, one lobe, one lobe. So they are all forming what? Sigma bond. Similarly, P and D can also form sigma bond. D and D can also form sigma bond. And I will see hybrid orbital also forming a sigma bond. Now this is something very important which we are seeing, that a sigma bond is formed by the overlap of two lobes coaxially. Two lobes coaxially, and that lobes are of what? Orbitals. So we can have these type of lobes interacting to form sigma bonds. One is SS, one is SP, one is PP, one is PD, one is DD, and one is hybrid orbital. I will deal with every case. I've just shown the most important ones which is shown in NCERT. The simplest one. These are a bit complicated, but we will definitely deal with this because it's not complicated when it is made to understand in that particular way, जैसे यहाँ पे. So we need not to worry about that. We will come to every single interaction which is taking place and forming a covalent bond. Now, the other cases, this is the first case I say, one lobe, one lobe. Second case, two lobe, two lobe. It results in the formation of pi bond. Okay? Like this. Lateral overlap. Positive, positive, negative, negative. This will result in the formation of what? Pi bond. So p orbital, p orbital. P and D can also lead to pi bond. D and D can also lead to what? Pi bond. So if there are two lobes interacting with two lobes now, they will form a pi bond. And we also say that a lateral overlap or sideways overlap of atomic orbitals leads to what? A pi bond. Third case. Now these two cases, third and fourth, are not taught in NCERT. But I'm just telling you out of curiosity that if we are dealing with competitions like KVPY, Olympiads and Olympiads further stages, these things can be asked. So I'm just telling you out of curiosity, if you want to do it in context with only NCERT, you can just stop it over here. So if I say the third type is 4 lobe, it will form a bond known as delta bond, and the fourth type is, if it is 6 lobe, the bond formed is called as a phi bond. Now this involves only a DD interaction and this involves a FF interaction. Now these are the 4 types of bond which we will deal one by one in detail. But this is the basic introduction. Ki a covalent bond is formed by the overlap of atomic orbitals. And these atomic orbitals, when they overlap, each of them can overlap with one lobe, coaxially to form a sigma bond. Two lobe, laterally to form a pi bond. 4 lobe to form a delta bond, and 6 lobe to form a phi bond. Okay? So we will just end our discussion right over here and start dealing with the first case, sigma bond, in the next lecture. Thank you very much.